At the beginning of the story, following his wife's wishes, Kratos cut down the trees bearing her handprints and prepared to cremate her using those trees. He also promised his wife to scatter her ashes from the highest peak in the 9 realms. However, what he didn't know was that by cutting down these trees with the golden handprints, he would attract the attention of the gods of the Norse world. After cutting the tree, Kratos looked at the bandages on his hands and pondered for a long time that the bandages on Kratos' hands used to wrap the blades of chaos, which originated from the depths of hell. After cremating his wife, Kratos realized that reaching the highest peak was not an easy task, so he decided to take his son Atreus hunting, both to avoid being overwhelmed by emotions and to see if his son was ready for the upcoming journey. In the woods, Kratos patiently taught his son, and the whole process went smoothly. Atreus also successfully hunted a stag, leaving it barely alive on the ground. Kratos instructed his son to deliver the final blow to the stag, but due to his young age, Atreus hesitated and didn't act. Suddenly, a giant mountain creature appeared to snatch the stag away. For Kratos, this was a trivial matter, and he swiftly dealt with it in a few moves. However, the easily provoked Atreus lost control, going mad and mercilessly hacking at the mountain creature's corpse, thinking he had done well. Kratos, watching his son, realized that he was not yet ready. They returned home, and after tidying up his wife's ashes, Kratos began to teach Atreus, instructing him on how to control his anger. After all, it was their previous anger that led to a series of tragedies. Here, it can be seen that Kratos has become much more mature and composed. Just then, a voice from outside the house startled Kratos. The stranger knew Kratos' identity, which frightened him. He feared that his son would learn about his past and that this stranger might harm his child. Upon opening the door, Kratos was faced with a skinny young man with messy braided hair and a beard. The two engaged in a conversation across realms. Kratos didn't want to start any trouble, but this young man kept provoking him. In the past, the man before him would have been beaten to death by Kratos. Although Kratos now had control over his anger, his patience still had its limits. Kratos began to fight back, and the two immediately engaged in a fierce battle. Their punches hit hard, even tearing the earth apart. During the fight, Kratos noticed that the skinny young man had an incredibly strong regenerative ability, and he seemed impervious to pain. Let me make a brief introduction of this young man before us. He is Baldur, the Norse god of light. His mission was to kill the remaining giants, and it turns out this was all a misunderstanding. Baldur possesses an invulnerable body, but he has his own vulnerabilities. After a long time, Baldur had his neck snapped before being thrown off a cliff. Now, why did Kratos' wife willingly release the barrier after her death? And why did she instruct them to carry her ashes to a higher mountain peak? And why did Baldur come looking for Kratos? Following me, the mysteries will gradually unfold as the story progresses.